it was interesting because the people of Comiso did not want the missiles placed there. They were being placed in an old fascist military base. And there had been 1,000,000 signatures in Sicily collected to NATO opposing it. And it was my first lesson, at least where I was conscious of the fact that what locals want isn't necessarily what's determined. And this is a perfect example of that. This was one area, as I understand it, where the mafia was not. They were not because back 300 years ago or some such, and believe it or not, there'd been a woman, duchess or whatever, that cut the land up and it went to individual farmers. So instead of being a big spread, there were small farmers there. This is my recollection of it. So it was not a popular, but that didn't matter. And so I made 2 trips to Comiso, one in, I think, that November of '82, and then on International Women's Day in '83, March the 8th, '83, if my memory serves me. And that's when we were demonstrating, and the demonstration was broken up by the police. And that was an extraordinary scene to witness because they used some law that came in, I think, under fascism, where a bugle is I didn't know what the bugle was about, and that means the police are going to be activated, and they were. They were, seriously, and the crowd dispersed. But that was the second meeting. The first visit there was just simply to talk to people and find out what the situation was.
And at the protest you went to, you witnessed the police, you witnessed a violent incident between the police and some of the protesters.
Yes, I was, as I said, I didn't know what this bugle or trumpet meant. And then the police they'd been very friendly. I was not part of that because I don't speak Italian, but there was sort of good feeling and this kind of thing. And then the trumpet blew, or the bugle, whatever instrument. And I heard something crack, and I looked behind me, and it was a woman had her arm taken like that and broken. As I always said, I think I was protected by the fact I had a fur coat on and I had white hair. At least I wasn't bothered. But it was the end of that demonstration for sure, which was it was a peaceful demonstration. There wasn't any throwing of rocks or anything like that. But they weren't going to have any more of it.
And were most of the women there Italian or from other countries?
Some were Italian, and as I remember, they were English primarily, because it was a connection with Greenham Commons. And you see, the troubling thing about those missiles, mid-sized missiles, or whatever they were called, is they couldn't get to the heartland of the Soviet Union. They appeared to be directed to the Middle East. A little known. For the mileage that they would cover. But fortunately, we watched on TV as those things were dismantled. The little town, I think, was disrupted by it. I understand the mafia moved in with all the construction. I haven't been there since, and I've lost contact, so I don't really know. But it was, as I think I had mentioned it previously, the first thing I noticed was there were no women out. They weren't on the street. And I asked the mayor, and he told me that was the Arab influence, and I said, yeah, but wasn't that 800 years ago? No answer to that. But they were really sequestered. Now, what it's like today, I don't know. But it was But the people didn't want it. The million signatures, it were meaningless to NATO, and that was a big lesson because you see it here in this country, in our own country. What comes from on high usually gets done.